welcome back, everybody, to Breaking Biscuits, the experience. We've obviously had a few technical difficulties, but we're back live, and obviously this is streaming to our Facebook and Breaking Biscuits account, so you'll be able to watch this show in its entirety. And Mark, we have a really special guest with us, and I want to bring our special guest on right now as I'm talking to introduce her and say hi to Kinsey. Hi, Kinsey.
Hi.
Hi.
So Kinsey is Chris and Faye's youngest daughter. She is a junior in high school, and she's been kind enough just to kind of let us talk to her today. And I might mention Chris and Faye have another daughter, and you can give her a shout out if you want to, Kinsey. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I know you guys are really close, but she's a freshman in college this year. So, Mark, I know you kind of have some questions for Kinsey, and just want to thank her. And this is a real blessing to have her on tonight.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We were talking earlier. Your parents talked about the Breaking Biscuits moment, the Breaking Biscuits, the after, and I would just like to hear your perspective from. Because I know even a lot of younger people who probably watch this can relate to some parts of your story. So just tell us whatever you want to tell us about how that journey looked like.
So before Breaking Biscuits and before dialysis and before all that, my dad, for years, was admitted in and out of the hospitals, and that made him angry. He's always been reserved. He's always been angry, and that anger has got to a point where my mom couldn't take it. So their marriage was breaking because of it, and I had to watching your parents go through a time like that. It's not easy, it's hard, and the only person you can talk about it with is your sister. And I love Bailey. Bailey's my rock. I love her so much. But then he got better for my mom, and then that's when we started going to church, and then Breaking Biscuits, and they went to Breaking Biscuits, and my dad was he changed. I have only ever known a very tough, a very reserved, a very angry man. And that Breaking Biscuits just changed him. He became a better husband, better father for me and Bailey. And that's what we've wanted. I've prayed for that for years. And then he started dialysis, and dialysis drained him. And I saw him break down time and time again, and that takes a big toll on a family as a whole. If one person's sick or if one person's upset, it brings down everybody, and that's how it was for months. And it didn't really click to me that he was dying until he went into dialysis, because I always thought beforehand when he would go into hospitals, I was like, oh, he'll be okay, like he's always okay. And then he got on dialysis, and it's like, this could really take his life. And so then that affected me a lot, and I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't talk to my family. It was kind of like a taboo thing. Like, we just didn't talk. I didn't talk about it to my best friends. I didn't talk about it to like anyone I'm in a relationship with or nothing. Like, I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to. And it's kind of something that I struggled with. I wouldn't say by myself, but just I lived with it rather than like talked about it. And then once we got the news that Matt was going to donate his kidney, and that he was a match, and that he was going to donate his kidney to my dad, it really just lit up our entire family, and especially my dad. My dad has been down for years, not even months, years. and the sickness has taken over him and his happiness, and he has just, I've seen the dad that I knew, like when I was a little girl, like I saw him being happy again and just loving spending time with his family. And I know how much this means to him. It means so much to me that my dad has a chance of being healthy again and being able to be the dad that I know he wants to be, because he mentally changed and he's mentally ready for it. He just needs to be physically ready, and I know he's physically ready to be that for us, and he's physically ready to be the husband he wants to be for my mom. So it means the world that my dad's getting his kidney. So yeah.
What is your expectation after all this is over? How do you see life in the full new life, I guess, or whatever?
I see a lot more of just us being together and us being a family, because there's a lot of times where he just wouldn't be up to doing it because he didn't feel good. And I think there's just going to be a lot more happiness, because I know how much he wants to work, and I know how much he wants to provide for us, and that's going to be a huge difference financially for us. And also just, it's going to bring him happiness. And when he is healed, and when just the future's going to be a lot better, and I see that, and I'm grateful that it's happening while I'm still in the house. Mm-hmm. And I can see it happen, and I can experience this new him. So yeah, I'm really hopeful for the future and how it's going to better us and better our lives. So
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine how thankful or heart of gratitude you'd have right now.
Yeah, it's like it's really just hard to believe, because I was told like it's years and years I'm gonna be off in college. I'm going to be starting my life, and my dad's still like here, just like struggling, and I'm not gonna be like there. And then now he's getting a kidney, and I'm gonna be able to like see him get better before I leave and before I start my life. And it brings hope that he's gonna be there when like I get married or when I have kids. And that was just something that I didn't know if I was gonna have. So
yeah, that's the big thing. He gets to walk you down the aisle.
Yeah. So it means the world to me, really, to be able to have my dad for longer than I thought I would, and have him be there for events that I didn't know if he was going to be there for. So, yeah.
Kenzie, I've got a question for you. I'm just wondering how you feel about the overwhelming love and outpouring of support that's come to not only your family, but to Matt's family as well. You know, we've got thousands and thousands of people are following the story. And it's your dad's story, it's your mom's story, it's Matt's story, Lindsay's story. You're part of the story as well, and you're kind of sharing your perspective. But how does it make you feel when you know so many people are engaged, listening and caring, and buying these tickets to help both families out? How does that make you feel? And do you have a message for everybody out there that's giving the support?
Yeah, I'm very thankful and like truly thankful, and it's really unbelievable. You think that like you see these people in these stories that go out and like they get a lot of attention, but then when it's like your own story that's getting this attention, it's really mind blowing, and I'm just so thankful. I really am so thankful because this is helping my family, this is helping, and really it means the world. But the other day I was at a football game, and over the summer I was a lifeguard, and there was a little boy that and his mom, began to swim lessons, his mom had asked me if I babysat my boy. And I got a text from her, and I started tearing up because it was just her being so sweet. It was my that was from me, and she was just texting me saying how she would be there for me and that she's following along, and that if I ever needed someone to talk to. And it's like, that's such a comforting feeling to know that people care. It's not just your own family or your friends caring. It's like other people are caring, and more people care too. It's a
What do you want to do when you grow up, Kenzie?
I want to go into real estate. I want to go to college. I want to make business, do real estate. That's what I want to do.
That's pretty specific. I guess hearing your story, I feel like your mom's in the middle, and I'm really happy for her, because she probably had to bridge the gap between, honestly, your dad was just frustrated all his life, and then you had you guys, and she was in the middle. How did she keep it all together, you think?
It's hard. I have seen her as I've grown up, especially. I didn't see what was when I was young. I didn't how my dad would obviously saw when he would just leave the house, or when he would, I saw but I didn't see really it affected my mom. She was really good at not and we came back and getting older, and I saw more how my dad, and I saw how hard my mom tried to keep it together for us. And me and my mom had a lot of talk recently about just her and how and her this story, and just of how he deals with it and how hard it is for her. And I'm at the age where I can understand, and he's the strongest person I know. And it's just I think this is gonna also help her not have to take on so much, and not have to be so strong, because she's always strong for everyone in this family. So it's been hard for her. It really has, and I know. And I'm so grateful to have a mom through a tough time like this. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're already growing strong yourself.
You.
Well, I've gotten to know your family pretty well in the last year and a half, and you have an amazing family.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. You have an amazing mom. You have an amazing dad. You and your sister are incredibly close, and you guys are in store for a massive blessing. And I know everybody's just dripping with hope, and I'm with you. I'm so hopeful for your family's future and for every person in your family. And I think it's just a beautiful picture of God intervening when it looked like there was no hope. There was hope, and there's so many miracles that's been along the way. And we'll talk probably a little bit about some of that later on in the broadcast. But we're just hopeful, and we share the hope with you, Kinsey.
Yeah.
And I'm just beyond grateful for my parents to have met you and have built a friendship with you and gone to Breaking Biscuit and had that opportunity, because without that, I think it would have been possible. I just don't.
Yeah, we got the full blunt of the version of where they were at when they showed up.
Yeah.
And it was beyond crisis. It's like, this gonna work or it's not,
yeah, and I had to live with that for months.
Talking to you is just encouraging to me to keep doing what we do.
And it really was like a miracle.
Like, we didn't save a marriage, we saved a family. Toby, that's just hard to wrap your head around. And I'll just be honest, your dad was a tough nut to crack there for a second, but it didn't take long.
It didn't take long.
It didn't take long, because honestly, deep down inside, he wanted something different, but he didn't trust anybody.
No.
And that's what Breaking Biscuits is about, is trust us with your stuff and we'll go somewhere different. Anything else you want to say to the people out there, Kinsey?
Just thank you. Thank you so much, and it means everything to me.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Love it.
Perfect. You.
Yeah, it was perfect.
We have 2 days to surgery, so I guess you'll stay home and your parents will go to Kansas City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
we're definitely going to be praying for everyone. We'll be checking in and updating everyone, so.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you, Kinsey, and thanks for sharing from your heart. We really appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, God bless. We'll stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Wow.
Yeah, that gives me, our viewers, a completely different perspective, Mark. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, just, kids, 16-year-old is, they're still, they're teenager, obviously, and they're just going to tell it the way it is.
They're unfiltered. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And, wow. The magnitude of, honestly, where Chris was, and that's understandable, because honestly, that was a personal problem.
Yeah.
And that goes back to childhood, and that goes back to stuff, and then Faye stuck here in the middle as a virtuous woman, pulling all those pieces together and keeping it together. And the teenager starts putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
It was very encouraging. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, and not to kind of pivot a little bit, you can see on the ticker we're at 454 tickets sold. If you don't know by now, surely you do. Maybe you're watching this for the first time, though. We're offering a 4-day luxurious vacation stay in a 6-bedroom condo or it's a lodge in Branson, Missouri on Table Rock Lake. Sleeps 14 people. It's a brand new facility, and Breaking Biscuits has donated this as a giveaway to raise money for both families. And I just want to ask our listeners, if you were in a situation where you were you kind of self-employed, that's Matt's story, and you wake up one day and you can't work for 6 to 8 weeks, you're the main provider for your family, what would you do? And of course, Chris and Chris can't work, and they're going to be at KU for 3 weeks minimum. So she's got to take off work. So the needs, the financial and substance needs are real. That's, Mark, why you and I are doing this. We're doing a way to raise funds. 454 tickets sold. We need to sell 1,000. That's what the need is to get to 1,000. We've got a week left. We can't change the drawing date. It's a week from tonight at 8 p.m. And I just want to talk to those that's given. First and foremost, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We've had some extremely generous people
Right.
that have gone online, clicked, and bought multiple tickets. And thank you for that. I just want to challenge 2 groups of people. The group that's given, our first ticket was sold a little over 3 weeks ago. So I just want to challenge those that gave early on. Would you feel compelled, after you listen to more and more stories and videos, would you feel compelled to go buy another ticket or 2? It's just going to help that much more to get to our goal. That's one group. And then the other group is, we were in Oklahoma a few days ago and passing out some flyers, and somebody said, they didn't know us, and they said, "Oh, is this that those guys on Facebook that I've been seeing that somebody's giving a kidney to another guy?" And we're just like, yeah, that's who it is. And that's the group I want to talk to as well. The group that doesn't maybe know the family intimately, but can see that this is real and that the needs are real. And you can just go online. There's a link, breakingbiscuits.com. You can give right at that website. Click the link, donate now, buy some tickets, and you get a chance. Not only are you helping these families, you get a chance to win a $3,500 vacation stay. And I heard this morning on the news that there were 2 lottery winners of the $1.7 billion. I don't know what the odds were, like 1 in 30 million you could win. You got a lot better odds of winning a vacation stay than you would of winning the lottery. So if you went and bought some lottery tickets, we're asking you do something even better. Go buy a couple tickets and maybe 10 tickets and help these 2 families out. It's gonna make a massive difference. And then we had kind of some exciting news to share, Mark, about getting picked up by a television station.
Wow, I know. It's amazing.
And, so Chris got a call yesterday, and then they immediately called me, and I called June, Mark. But KOAM TV News, which is out of Pittsburgh, Joplin, Channel 7 News, are going to come to the church tomorrow morning and interview Chris, Matt, and the senior pastor, Pastor Joseph. So they're going to do a story about this, and we're so thrilled that it's going to hit. We've had a lot of views. This is going to go to another level when they put it on TV. It's supposed to run. They get the edits done in time, and they think they will. They'll run it tomorrow evening at the 6 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm.
If not, they'll run it at the 10 o'clock hour. But we encourage you to watch for it. We'll pick up the video. We'll post it. But please share these videos. Share the story tonight. We really need to, we want to sell 1,000 tickets, but we got to get to 500 before we can get to 1,000. And we just need, like even tonight, if just 10 people would buy, 4 tickets, that almost gets us there. Or if 20 people would buy, 2 tickets, that almost gets us there. Just be one of those 20 people that says, you know what, I'm going to make a sacrifice this week. I'm going to skip my Starbucks, and I'm going to buy a ticket instead. We need you to do that for these families.
Mm-hmm. But even if you didn't win the vacation, I mean, listening to that story just now, I mean, come on. That's what I love about young people the most, is they really come unfiltered and unscripted, and she just she painted the picture that you and I know, but she painted a picture for us, all of us. And I mean, even if you didn't win the vacation, but you get this incredible vacation, and I've been there and I can verify it's better than the Marriott. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you could only buy like 3 or 4 tickets, it would be unbelievably worth it. And if you didn't win it, you helped an incredible cause,
Yeah.
You helped this little girl that has struggled with her relationship, obviously with her family, and now it's completely changed, and it's going to be a whole new world. So,
what's beautiful about the story too, Mark, is a lot of the changes already happened.
Yeah.
She said, now he's just waiting for his body to catch up with what happened in his heart and in his mind.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful.
They're already living the life. Now she wants to, and he wants to, the extended life is crazy. Why don't you talk about the thing Chris told you about the odds and all that?
Yeah, so I saw Chris today, and I was talking to him, and I know he posted some of this online in the last day or two, but I was just blown away. So in 2024, there were 48,000 kidney transplants that took place in the U.S. 48,000. Of those 48,000, only 7,000 were living donors. And then of those living donors, the majority of those are family members. And what I didn't really realize is how hard it is to get a match. So Chris, I was talking to him, I said, well, you've got to have built some relationship in the dialysis room because you've got multiple people doing dialysis at the same time. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, well, just talk to me how hard it is to get a donor and all that. And he said, well, he knew of one person that they were on their 3rd person, live donor, and they just can't match. They can't get a match because it has to be so specific. The blood type is one, the size, all of these things have to be specific to be a match. And that's why family usually is the best chance, because at least you've got some potential blood, same blood type and that type of thing. But he said for Matt to be one person to go get tested, and that one person is a quote unquote perfect match, is a miracle beyond miracles. It is absolutely unheard of. And that's exactly what happened in this circumstance. And it's just like, I know we've touched on this a little bit before, but I don't think I understood the weight and the gravity of how rare that is statistically for 48,000 to get a kidney. I mean, if he wasn't a match, Mark, I mean, he could go through multiple people and he'd still be on the transplant plan list.
It was like, wasn't it like a 4-year list or
A
something?
4-year list. And so this whole experience for him, his family, and then what Matt's doing sacrificially out of love. There is no other explanation. He says, I got a kidney and this man needs it. I'm going to see if I can give it to him. And God had preordained all this.
And the crazy thing, his wife was going to get tested too, and didn't even tell him.
Right.
I can't tell you enough that I just wish I was that person if I was confronted with that scenario.
Yeah.
But the providence of God in all this is, it's just mind-blowing. If you follow the story, obviously we heard from Kinsey, you know, their family was probably in a lot of situations where a lot of families are. And there's trouble in the home, but honestly, if we just be honest, the father was unhappy and unfulfilled, and there's a lot of issues going on there, and Breaking Biscuits helped that, because we just broke it all open and rolled it on the table. But I think the providence of God is them moving back to Neodesha, and then Faye saying, well, I'm moving back to Neodesha with you and our family, but the purpose is to go to Christchurch, where Pastor Joseph is, where we interviewed a couple of, I don't even know when it was, last week. But it's funny because she had almost given up, and then after Breaking Biscuits, he brought her back. And so the providence of God is like, I want you to move. If you just listen to what's going on, God is guiding them to Neodesha to go to Christchurch, because there will be a day that you need a kidney, and there will be a man there that's a perfect match, and I will lay it on his heart, and he will want to give you his kidney, and it'll be a perfect match. And it's just, it reminds me of Elijah when he was, you know, Elijah in 1 Kings 18, it says, you know, he prophesied a famine or whatever, but he went by the brook of Kidron, and the ravens fed him, and he had the brook, and it was all good, and he was taken care of. He didn't worry about nobody. But the scripture said the brook dried up, and God told him to go to the Shunammite's woman's house, which is a widow, and he said, I have, the specific word is, I have ordained or commanded or authorized her to sustain you. Like, I've made provision for her to sustain you. And so the picture is Chris and Faye, without knowing it, need to move back to Neodesha because God has ordained a kidney for him that they didn't even know they needed at that time. And they didn't know their family needed for their father to live longer. They didn't know what was going to happen, but God did. And the moral of the story is the widow gave what she had, which was one last meal to Elijah. But he said, your meal, your oil will never run out until the end of the famine. And that's the story me and you talked about earlier, is there's a blessing in Matt and Lindsay's story for participating in this. There's a God blessed Elijah for obeying and going to the to the widow woman, but he also blessed the woman who gave whatever she had, and her meal never ran out and she never went hungry. And so I'm kind of excited to see how Matt and Lindsay's life's going to turn out as the business owners, as a family, and as because wow, I just see God in this whole thing, and the miracle of it is like expanding even deeper and deeper. Like talking to Kinsey is like I get a bigger picture of like, oh wow, God was really in this. And now the TV station is going to pick it up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It is, Mark, and back on Matt, and I don't want to share more than I need to because it's his story to share. But I will say this: it's like I obviously know Matt quite well, and I've seen a different side of Matt that I've never seen before. And I'm really what I want to share is just that God is doing a deep, deep work in him through this process of him giving out of love. And it's like we talk so much about Chris's transformation, but there's like a whole nother level for Matt that's taking place right now, a whole nother level of transformation. And I think it is. I think it's God expanding his capacity to be blessed, his capacity to get to the next level that God wants him to get to in life. For him personally, his family, that's what I see going on. I think it's perfectly aligned with how you shared with the story of Elijah and the widow woman. I think I'm watching that unfold in front of my eyes every day and every week. It's a real blessing to watch. I'm just perplexed in a good way and amazed at so many different levels of miracles that are taking place and changes that are happening through this one story. It's remarkable, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know that I've seen something that has so many connection points in it that, like you said, just keeps growing and growing and growing.
And everyone can relate in little pieces of it. And I think that's the cool part. And I'm sure there's some people that follow the whole story and they know where we're at. But even if you come in right now and you just heard this, you should go back and hear the stories, all the posts, and you'll understand how we got here. But we don't want to leave the broadcast without explaining to people that there's only 2 days left for surgery. And that's a hardship on them. That's a concern. That's a natural, I don't want to say fear, but as a natural, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then what you said, they may be up there for 2 or 3 weeks. And, Kinsey's still got to go to school. Their little kids, Lindsay and Matt's kids, got to still go to school. They got to do all that. So there's a lot to this, a lot of moving parts.
And Mark, what we want to do and why we're here is we want to take off the table of worrying if do they have money to buy groceries.
That's what we want.
Do they have money to pay the light bill or the gas bill? Do they, have money to buy school clothes for the kids? Like, we're trying to take all that worry off the table so that they can focus on what God has done for their health, recovery for Matt, Chris for recovery with a new kidney. And we just want to remove all those other worries and concerns. And that happens by community stepping up And I wanna call out a couple, not people, but a couple groups. Christ Church, thank you. We have seen so many donations come from individuals out of Christ Church. And then Mark, I don't know the name of the church that you go to in Oklahoma City. Can you call them out? And I just
Way Family, Pastor Josh and Lindsay.
Thank you for giving Mark a moment and you taking the time to share this story. We have seen some very generous gifts come out of Oklahoma City, out of that region, and out of your church. Thank you for sharing the story and being a part of something that you don't know the people personal, but you see the need and you're responding. Thank you for that.
They knew him by the Spirit, though.
Yeah,
they were spiritually connected. It was amazing. We have a lot of amazing people behind us.
Yeah.
I guess we just want the people who are interested in the story, like the lady in Oklahoma that said, "Hey, are you the people that these guys keep talking about?" And it's like, yeah, so why don't you take the next step?
Right.
Why don't you win a vacation? Why don't you take a chance on winning a vacation? I mean, if you win it and you don't want it, give it away. Gift it to your kids or your family, or but we're going to do it live, I guess, next Sunday. And we're going to hopefully have a phone number. We're actually going to call the person who wins. So you definitely want to be available and accessible in case you win. It's going to be exciting.
And if you want to win, I have to say this, your chances increase with the more tickets that you buy. It's just a mathematical probability.
Yeah.
And we sold 454 tickets. So if you bought one ticket right now, you would have a 1 in 455 chance of winning. We hope that that's a 1 in 1,000 chance by the end of next week. We really believe the last week we're going to see a lot of donations come in, a lot of people participate. Some people are holding off. They've got their own little thing they're doing, matching ticket sales, with, other people, and we've had a lot of people give cash, and you can give cash. It just needs to go to Christ Church, and then we'll put your name in. We can put your name in the drawing manually through the software, and that's what we do. So you have the same chance of winning whether you give cash, or the easiest is if you have a debit or credit card, just to go to breakingbiscuits.com. There's a huge button that says donate here. Click it. It'll take you to the donating website, which is a Better World website. And that's where all the information is and where you can, purchase the amount of tickets that you'd like to purchase. We haven't really said this before, but the way it's set up, the more you buy, like there's different groups. If you buy 10, the cost per ticket is lower than if you bought 10 singles. You can save a little bit of money if you want to look at it that way. It was just an incentive to try to get people to give a bigger block and donate a bigger block of giving as it relates to the tickets. But whatever you choose, you're helping these two families, whether it's one or 100 tickets. And we've had some big donors. We appreciate you, but we also appreciate every person that just buys one. Every ticket makes a difference. And thank you so much.
So we want to remind everyone, if you watch this, tell us where you're from and type in the word rewind, and for sure share, because this will expand to all of your audience that we don't have access to.
And I would say too, Mark, just once again, I know it might seem like we're a little pushy, but we're really just trying to help. Is you have your little tribe, you have your immediate family and those your friends that you're close to. If they're outside of the circle of knowing about this, share it with them, but give them a call, send them a message, and just, hey, this is something I really believe in, and I'm just asking you to participate to help this family out. I know you don't know them, but maybe I do or they do, and just encourage people, because that's what it takes, is encouragement to participate and to be to donate to this cause.
And that's what I did at church. I just personally went to all of our leadership team and I said, I got to make sure I have your phone number. I'm going to text you the link, and I would like for you to buy a ticket, because this is not only very important, but you could win something that's unbelievable. And I just went to, I just told them, you need to buy a ticket, basically.
So let's talk about that real briefly, Mark. What about the pastors and leaders that are out there of churches that might see this? How could we challenge them? Because this would be a great property to do a leadership conference for their leadership team at church. But if you had 100 leaders in front of you right now that are church leaders, what would you say to them as it relates to giving to this cause?
I would say the most important thing as a leader and your leadership team is getting away from your everyday grind of life, your everyday format, having meetings at the church, luncheons or whatever, and I was a leader for a long time in church, and the most successful events I had was renting a hotel or a Airbnb or something, and getting people away and out of the environment of work, of ministry, where we could talk about real important things in a real casual way. I know the Way Church, Pastor Josh and Lindsay, and I know that Christ Church has bought a block of tickets. I encourage them to buy them, and if they win, you could take 14 of can you imagine taking 14 leaders and just compressing 4 days time into you can't substitute that. You can't do that over Zoom. You can't do that in a Sunday morning service. You can't do that in a meeting after Sunday. You can't. There's nothing like living together for 4 days that changes and that solidifies. And so I would really challenge, especially if your church is 250 people or under, which is the 90% of all the churches in the U.S., you owe it to yourself to try to win these tickets and buy a block. Like buy 5. Just buy 5. That's the number of grace. Just buy 5. If you win, take your leadership team. It'll be the best. I guarantee you, it'll be the best thing you ever did for your organization. Because that's what Breaking Biscuits does. We take 5 couples out of their ordinary life. We take their cell phones away from them. That's maybe shouldn't have said that, but you can check them later. But we get them out of that environment. Like Breaking Biscuits wouldn't work if we just had a meeting and the cell phones are still on, the kids are still running around and all that. So we take them completely out of the environment, take them apart, and honestly, you know what I've learned, Toby, is that's what they really want.
I was thinking exactly that when you were talking. It's what we all want. We just don't feel safe enough to do it. Like, we don't want to show our scars. We don't want to show our weaknesses. We don't want to show those things that we struggle with, or even show our past failures, whatever it might be. Just like Chris and Faye. I mean, there's stories out there, so we can talk about it. They just didn't want people to know what they were going through and the struggles. But they both, when they felt safe, they just poured out. They poured themselves out onto the table, so to speak.
And you know what? They didn't know how to voice it to each other.
No.
They didn't know how to voice what they were feeling and what their pain and frustration was. And honestly, when Chris left after the 4th day, he was taking notes. He was on top of everything.
You know, what I flash back to our talk with Kinsey a while ago, for a 16-year-old to look at you and I and say, if they wouldn't have went to Breaking Biscuits, this would not be happening. But I'm not saying we deserve credit, because we don't.
Mm-mm.
All we did was set the table. They did the work, and we watched them do the work, and we saw the transformation in front of our own eyes. But just, I think it goes back to your point, Mark, taking the time to set yourself apart in the right environment and have a safe place to show vulnerability, to speak openly, and to know it's not going anywhere is like life changing. And that's what happened. And that's why we're here. That's what's led us. That was the first step, our involvement, the first step to get us to this point of this donation. I'm kidding.
And our table seats, 14 people, so.
14 people. The big table to break biscuits. If you don't know what breaking biscuits is, just keep watching.
Yeah.
You'll learn. You'll learn. It's a very, very special, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's an experience. You can't explain that.
Yeah.
I mean, when Moses saw the burning bush, but it didn't burn up, how's he going to explain that to anybody?
Yeah.
You just had to be there.
Right.
But we heard testimony after testimony after testimony of the transformation. And you know what? Chris and Faye and Kinsey and her sister are our brother and sister. At the end of the day, we need to figure out a way to help them, and this is a great way.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful. I want to leave with the thought that if you're on the fence about buying tickets, you have 7 days left. We have 2 days till surgery, and tomorrow night we have a potential TV broadcast that we can all share. It'll be on this page. It'll be plastered out everywhere, hopefully. So
yeah, we hope we're going from tens of thousands of people watching to hundreds.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah. So we're just I gotta say the same thing.
My wife said, like our little logo when we were creating it, there was a gold one. It said, "Sound like two old men with a gold microphone." And I said, "Well, that's kind of what we are, two old men talking."
Too much, Mark. That's it. That's okay.
I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful to learn. This ain't about us.
No, it's not about us at all.
To close us out, Toby.
Well, I just want to close, one with a heart of gratitude. Because if you're watching this, like I had somebody at church today told me, they said, "Man, we've been watching all your shows." He made a funny comment. It's like, "You're like a movie star or whatever." And just meaning that they're watching, I took it as they've been watching all the shows.
Yeah.
And I just have a heart of gratitude first and foremost for following the story. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for caring. Thank you for following the story. And then the next thing is we once again just continue to ask. And it's a plea to ask to be a donor. I mean, Matt's being a donor. He's donating his kidney. We're not asking you to give a kidney. We're asking you to donate by buying a ticket. And be a donor. Like, just say, "Hey, I'm going to stand with Matt, and I'm going to be a donor, and I'm going to donate $20 to buy a ticket." That's all we're asking. We need 500 people that haven't given to do that. If we did, we'll hit our goal, and we'll just take all these other worries off the table. And so I just want to end with that thought. Mark, thank you for being a part of this. Obviously, your insight and the love you have for people shines bright when we do these podcasts, and your spiritual insight to be able to pull, God's word into the stories is so helpful for people to hear. Because this is like if we were in Bible times, this is like a story you cannot put in scripture. It's literally that powerful. And I just thank you for your insight, for your participation in this, and all the hours we've spent trying to figure out how to use the software we're on, and everything. It's been a lot of work and time, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
And it's like a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment in the spiritual journey of a lot of people, not just them.
That's true. That is true.
And that's why I bring the stories in, because it's just a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment for all of us.
Well, maybe not a kidney, but we all will be in that place someday.
Mm-hmm.
We will need someone in our life. We will need for someone to come to our rescue, someone to speak words of encouragement to us, someone to be a safe place so that we can share our difficulties and our struggles. We've all been there, and we all will be there.
And the crazy thing about it, Toby, is Faye and Chris are in this turmoil, but we don't even think about how the kids are doing.
Yeah.
And we just heard it tonight.
Yeah.
Their eyes were wide open, and they knew exactly what was going on.
They knew where they were at, didn't they?
Yeah.
They knew where they were at.
And I'm so grateful to have like a grain of rice piece of it to help guide them in the right direction. That I am.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right, Mark. Well, we're rolling up on an hour here. Thank you for joining tonight. We'll give you an update. Obviously, surgery day. You'll likely see us on here. We'll give you an update as we learn, and then please tune in tomorrow night, KOAM TV, Channel 7. Check out the 6 o'clock broadcast. Check out the 10 o'clock broadcast. But you should see an interview with Pastor Joseph, Matt, and Chris tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Until next time, we'll see you on Breaking Biscuits, The Experience. God bless.
Bet. God bless.